Hey everybody, hey fam, how y'all doing? I know I was supposed to come on Facebook Live, but for some odd reason I changed it because I wanted to be on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, my personal page, Women of Great Faith, the two pages, the group page, and then the business page. So being on Facebook Live, that's really hard for me to do. And then this just gives me time to actually talk about what I want to talk about instead of paying attention to who's logging on, which that should not even be, a big concern. But I felt that I had to get on because it's been a while since I've been on, and there has been a lot of things going on lately. First of all, dealing with current deaths, it's very challenging. I'm praying for the families of the two personal experiences that I've had with death. I'm praying for Pastor Newton's family, whole entire family. That was it's a very difficult thing to be going through right now. And I'm quite sure the family, is going through worse. So I can't even imagine. So I'm praying, for them. And then that's an unexpected death. Then the unexpected death of a close co-worker, Barbara Martinez, which, everybody thought things were going to be okay. But, God's plans is just so, it's so off. That's why God said his ways are not our ways and his thoughts are not our thoughts. And there's another scripture that says, lean not to your own understanding, but trust in the Lord with all thy heart. That mind and thy soul. He didn't say with your feelings you got to trust, because feelings is a tough thing when you're hurting. But you have to know that God is in control of all things, that he is always there with us, like the word of God said, yea, do we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we shall fear no evil, for thy rod and thy staff, they comfort us. So in this season, all of us are receiving, challenging experiences, challenging information. And in all of that, relationships are involved in all of that. And I'm not only talking about relationship from one person to the next. I'm actually talking about your relationship with God himself. Right now, this is the season to where we all have to do a self-evaluation, which I have. For some odd reason, when things go on in life, we're forced to do a self-evaluation. It could be anything. It could be death. It could be sickness. It could be separation. You always have to. It's very smart to evaluate your life and evaluate relationships. Relationships are so important. Vibes and energy plays a part in your development as a human being. So in relationships, we have to be very cautious as to who's around us and who we are around also. And also in relationships, learn to communicate. It doesn't matter if it's your coworkers to each other, family wise, mother to child to a parent, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, fiancés, siblings, adult siblings, teenage siblings, cousins, there are relationships all over. Can't nobody tell me that they're not in none of those, because there are relationships all over. We have people that we have to communicate with. Social media is another form of communication. So communication is all around us. But the one thing that we need to understand, that it's okay to disagree. You don't have to, it's not wise to get upset when you yourself, you disagree with what someone else is doing or what they're saying, because we all need to understand that all of us are from different walks of life. All of us have had different experiences, and it doesn't mean that what he or she is saying, they're wrong. You have to look at the level for where they're at. You have to understand their environment and where they came from. You can't say that they're wrong. You have to understand their mindset. I went to a event. It's probably about a couple of months ago. And the event was at an art show. And the art show had so many different paintings. I'm talking about putting, little everyday things together and making like a face out of it, or just a regular painting, or sticks, or just splash of different colors. I mean, it was all kind of different paintings, African paintings, sculptures of warriors and all of that. So there was this one painting that it was four of us that were talking about this one painting. So I was actually with my brother. And it was a woman in the painting, and the woman was holding up a man, and the man had a man's head, but the rest of his body was like mechanical stuff. It wasn't like a human body, but it was mechanical stuff. So I happened to ask, I'm looking at it and it's very interesting to me. So my thought on it was, the woman in the painting is the brains for the man, and she's holding him up, but he's struggling with the things that are going on in life because of what life has to offer him. But at home, he's her king. And because she is there, she's holding him up with her strength. That's what I got from it, right? So my brother started saying something totally different, but it wasn't wrong. So he's looking at this picture from a perspective of a man. And I believe he said something to the effect that this man feels that life is so difficult, and everywhere that he turns is always something going on, and he just can't get it right. Right? And then there was another guy that came in, and his view on that picture was like so left field, like, wow, okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. That makes sense. Then this other guy came in, which is an older guy, and he gave his thoughts on the picture. So this is my point. All of us are from different walks of life. But when we view that picture, whatever it is that we would think, it wasn't wrong, because what we're looking at is what wasn't in front of our faces. But what this here have contained and absorbed and seen in life made us look at that picture from where we were at the time. So I'm here to say that you can have your thoughts and your ideas, but it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's not wrong at all. Just take yourself out of who you are and look at that person's perspective and try to understand where they're coming from. Because a lot of times in relationships, like you could be in a relationship with a person, and it's going on like 10, 15 years, right? And then in 10, 15 years, one is growing and the other one just stay the same. But then while we're having conversations, both of us may feel that we're against each other when we're really not. But if you just sit down and say, listen, XYZ, and you both look at the same situation to see that you're probably saying the same thing, but looking at it from a different perspective. So it doesn't make it right or wrong, but it's just the observation of things that are going on. So in relationships, even dealing with parents with adult kids, don't think that they are doing XYZ, and then when you sit, you could think that they're doing XYZ. Oh, I told them not to do that, and blah blah blah, da 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 da. And then when you sit down with the person and then they start talking to you, come to find out your perspective on what you thought was going on was totally wrong. Here's an example. So I went through a divorce, and I'm quite sure everybody knows. Listen, get this book. Remember to get the book. So I went through the divorce, right? So my perspective on it was I was probably the only one that was really affected by the relationship, right? And then one of my kids started acting up, and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong. I'm doing everything possible, giving them everything to make sure everything is all right. But it looks like whatever it is that I was doing for me, I thought that it wasn't working because they tripping, angry, doing this and doing that. So one day I had a conversation with one of my kids, and at this point they're an adult. So we went through divorce when they were probably in middle school and high school. So now this one of my kids, he's an adult. And I'm like, hey, listen, let's talk, right? And I say, tell me, what was going on in your mind around XYZ time? My thinking was he was just being very difficult and didn't want to listen to me, blah, 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 da, 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 blah, 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 right? When he explained to me what he was thinking, he wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong at all. That's where he was at the time. I'm like, explain to me why you were, so mean and didn't want to listen. So his comment to me was, you have to understand, when I was at the age, I think he was like, I could say between 13, 15 years old, it looked to me that God was taking everybody that was close to me away from me. And since you were the next closest thing to me, in order for me not to feel the hurt and pain that I'm feeling from the separations of these other relationships, I just put up a wall. And I'm coming at you like I don't care, but I really care, because I felt like you were going to be the next one to be removed from my life. I was like, wow. So that's what I'm saying, people. Talk. And when you talk with an open mind and an open heart, and try to understand where they're coming from when they're speaking to you. Because your perception on what's really going on is just based on where you were at or you are at, and not seeing it from their aspect or their view. Because you're both looking at the same picture, but you're reviewing it and you see it differently. So let's learn to communicate at work, at church, at home, personally, and have an open mind about what the other person is saying, instead of, being defensive in the beginning. Because when you put up your defense, your walls, you're not going to be able to receive that conversation, because you stuck on what you think is going on. But if you have an open mind, you'll be like, oh wow, okay, I didn't look at it that way, and I didn't think about it that way. And trust me, your relationships will be a whole lot better, and you have a better understanding as to what's going on. Just wanted to share that. Didn't want to be on here too long, and it looked like I was. So y'all be blessed and be encouraged. Women of Great Faith, this is what this is. Women of Great Faith is having a garage sale that's coming up. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I had to reschedule the one for yesterday to February the 4th. So I hope you guys be there. And then I have another women's conference that's coming up. So ladies, come on, come out. Come out and let's have these conversations, because we all need tools, man, for life. We do. We all need these tools, because these tools is what makes us better. Again, put some scriptures on it, put some reality to it, mix it up in the pot, and I guarantee you it's going to taste a whole lot better than it was tasting before, right? That soup going to be good once you mix it up and get yourself out of it and understand what's going on. Don't forget to purchase, this book here. This book here helped me become the woman that I am today. It was based on these experiences from this book that I can be able to share with you. And I hope that you can also share with me, okay? If you want to reach out to me, you can through Facebook Live, Women of Great Faith on Instagram, and also on Facebook. And, inbox me, do whatever, because Arlene, Pedro want to give back. And I am giving back. That's why I'm sharing. Just a thought, man. These relationships, let's view it differently. Have an open mind. Have open dialogues instead of accusing and thinking that somebody is wrong. Try to keep your mind open as to where they're at and what they experience, and how both individuals can help each other grow. God bless you guys. Have a great day. See you on February the 4th at the garage sale. And also, I think February the 12th, the location will be announced for the next women's gathering with mimosas. Yeah, I can't wait. You guys have a wonderful day. Love you for listening and taking the time out to share this video. Have a wonderful day.